Hello, friends! Let me shimmy myself over. How are you all doing today? Hi. 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 There we go. That should work. There. I had trouble sleeping last night. Turns out Scary Game was scary. Like, there were definitely hints that it was a horror game, but like, I think what mostly convinced me that it wasn't going to be one was the fact that I was willfully ignorant. You know, I'm like, no, I'm going to. Thank you, Guy. Thank you so much. Was that I sort of tried to will it into not being one. That was a good game, though. I really enjoyed it. But that does leave us with a question now of what is our next game going to be? And I have some ideas. There's several good candidates, and I wanted to talk about that and just kind of talk in general. I do have a really funny story to share, specifically a story about, really, I'm getting snap? Shouldn't be. I can restart my thing. Yeah. So I picked up a couple of Metroidvanias on the Steams. I grabbed Ender Lilies, which I'm gonna play, but I'm gonna play after I play some of the other ones first, because I've heard that it's so good that it can ruin other indie Metroidvanias for you. Blasphemous, Dead Cells, and Iconoclasts. So I'm kind of, going to pick one of those, and it's eventually going to be a poll that I'm going to run in here. But first, I have a funny story. So as some of you may know, I'm currently looking for a job. Which sucks. And I got an interview request. Kind of. It's like, okay, I got a request to go to an interview, and I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I'll go, because it's not really my industry, but hey, it's an interview, A. And B, I just want interview practice. I just want practice in the interview process. You know, I want to get better at it. Honestly, I think I'll probably do fine. Honestly, I'm pretty confident in my ability to, like, make a good interview. I can yap, I can talk, and I genuinely do have a lot of skills, so I'm not terribly worried about it, but I haven't done an interview in, like, very, very long time. So I look up a couple things about the place that I'm going to interview at, okay? And the structure of the company seemed very triangular. Almost like a pyramid. So I'm looking at Glassdoor interviews. Okay, if you don't know, Glassdoor is a website where you can see how other people have left reviews about a company. It's available in several countries and should be, probably where you are. And you can just sort of see, like, what is the corporate culture, what sort of things are they, working with. And I click onto their Glassdoor, and oh my goodness, the level of astroturfing was super high. There were several raving reviews how as the more you put into the company, the more you'll get out of it, and has the potential to earn a ton of money, and ooh, red flags left and right, just red flags coming at you as fast as you can see them. I'm just like, okay. Not loving this. Not loving what I'm seeing here. But it might be funny. And you know me, I will do it for the bit. I have literally gone to a timeshare presentation because I thought it would be funny to see how they were going to try to manipulate me. I got a popsicle out of it. I'm happy. So, that's the mindset I went in. I went in with the mindset of, you know what? This is going to be a train wreck. Let's strap in and have a good time with it. Like, I knew it was going to be wrong. I knew it was going to be a catastrophe. So, the reddest flag that I've ever done seen is the fact that the interview was done as a webinar. I wasn't even going to get interview practice. That's the whole reason I was going to go along with their scam. I thought I was going to have a one-on-one online interview. They gave me a Zoom link. I clicked on the Zoom link, and it said, join in the webinar. And it's just like, really? Are you actually kidding me right now? There was a poll they gave at one point, and it really was a how many people do you think you could recommend this to kind of poll. Like that sort of nonsense. But it actually gave me more information than they might have intended, because it let me know how many people were in the webinar. I don't remember exactly what the votes were for, but it was a total of like 15 or so. So there was 15 people who were at the same webinar thing. And it's multi-level marketing. You know it had to be, right? You all could have guessed. Like, it's a pyramid thing. And like, they're talking like, okay, they literally described their CEO, their founding CEO, as the Steve Jobs of this company. As in, like, our innovative leader. And it's like, the Steve Jobs of your company? Really? Is he gonna die of preventable cancer too? Because, like, I don't know if that's really a flex. In the tech industry, he's not terribly well respected. Now, to people who are dumb, he's very well respected. To people who don't know better, to people who think that, you know, this is the equivalent of, like, you know, oh yeah, we have a strong leadership like Elon Musk, and he's just like, oh, do you now? Interesting. So, yeah, exactly. Steve Jobs. This is our Steve Jobs, and his name was like, I don't know. It was probably something really stupid like Harold. I mean, I can't think of a stupider name than that. Can you think of a stupider name than Harold? I can't off the top of my head. I actually did record it, but I recorded it on my laptop because I have a guest bedroom in my house that has less plushies and anime figures in it than this room does, so I didn't want to interview in this room. So I didn't record it. I can't, like, pull up footage of it right now, because I didn't record my interview from this room. I recorded it on my laptop from that room, because this room is wonderful. I love this room. This is not a professional room. You know, I wanted to put my best face forward. I wore a suit! I looked really good too. I put on my nice makeup. I put on my good business suit, and I had a really nice, like, moonstone pendant on. Like, I have my good earrings in. Like, I looked good. Honestly, it was worth it for that, just to practice, you know, all those things. Would I have used my main room if I knew it was a webinar? Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, at that point, I'm not getting on camera. It doesn't matter. So the best part about it was the practice of setting it up. So. Hold on, let me pull up a thing here real quick. Alright. I'm gonna actually pull up one slide for you that I did screenshot in addition to everything else. Let me just... That's a good noise. There we go. Okay, I don't know if you're ready to see this, but... You notice anything about this? Do you notice, like, how if you laid these out on a grid, it would definitely form a triangle shape, right? You see it, right? This would definitely be some sort of three-dimensional triangle, right? You get what I'm saying now, right? It's like like it's not even subtle. And I get it. I honestly, unironically, I do. It actually is, by design, supposed to be like that, because that will filter out the people who are not going to get conned by it. You know? And part of me wants to go to the next stage. Part of me genuinely wants to go to the next stage as a bit. Part of me wants to be like, I'm actually still very interested. Can you tell me more? And like, I'm not gonna give him money or anything. I'm not gonna actually sign up for it, but like, oh, it's kind of tempting though, right? It is actually tempting to do. And like, how many please act my worth? I mean, with my background and my experience, I should be getting like 200k a year, so I don't know if I'm allowed to act my worth, because I'm probably not going to get my worth. My worth is about being funny, and that is kind of my worth. So here's the worst part. Here's the funniest part. Here's the best part. And here's the worst part. And this is when I saw this on the website. This is when I knew it was going to be wretched. But they says that you make money in the same way that a record label makes money off of record sales. You get a fraction of each sale. You make your money the same way Michael Jackson's estate makes money off of Michael Jackson's record sales. What you're trying to say, what you think that you're trying to say, is that you are making money off commissions. As in, every time you make a sale, you earn commission money. That's what you're trying to say. I have done licensing in the animation industry for the past 20 years. What you're describing is not licensing. That's not how licensing works. That's not how any of this works. No. No. Like, it's you're not going to get residuals off of this. You're not going to... Oh, my goodness. And the general concept was that you go to... You'll make your worth. Well, thank you, Tezzy. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm like... I know that other people are going to get conned into this, and that's the part that makes me sad. And they showed their company's earnings reports. They show that they went from a, like, you know, a $1 million company to, you know, to like a multi-million. Like they showed the stages of growth of the company, and it was very strong, borderline exponential, but like, and it makes me sad because it means that people are getting suckered into this. It means that people are like getting sucked into it. It makes me super sad about this thing, okay? It makes me sad. So, what'd I do? Well, I watched through to the end, obviously. The guy who was presenting... I can tell that he didn't believe in it, but I could also tell that he was making good money off of it. You know what I'm saying? 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 So, like... I don't even know if I can really blame him for that. I think they've been using the same presentation script for like 30 years, because I feel like they name-dropped Michael Jackson a bit too easily and then had to backtrack and say the estate of. It felt like they've been using that line, that same script since they started doing this sort of scam. And the general job is also the worst. You effectively cold call businesses and try to sell them on a service. You walk into a business and be like, hey, can I talk to somebody who's a decision maker here? Like, they imply that you should just walk in and walk straight to the back rooms and talk directly to the people who are in charge without even talking to, talking with anyone else. They said that the guy who was presenting said that he did that without explicitly endorsing that anybody else do it, but like he said it with a full enough voice that it's clear that he's planting that seed idea into people's brain minds, which also sounds super evil. I have ADHD. Rejection sensitivity is a thing. I would crumble into dust. I would simply perish. I also want something that I can believe in. Like, that's actually the biggest problem with getting a job. Like, I could probably get a job without too much difficulty. I want a job that's going to be doing something, ideally, that'll make me happy. That's an entirely different difficulty, though. You know what I'm saying? So, there's no salary. There's no actual salary. And you never heard the term rejection sensitivity? Oh no, that's a thing. That's literally a thing with that's very common with ADHD. Rejection sensitivity is exactly what it sounds like. It's feeling more pain from rejection than the average person. That's actually a very common thing. I'm better off panhandling in the street. Honestly, yeah, it would be. They would just, yeah, for reals. My first job was tech support. I was used to talking... Oh. I was used to people coming in to a conversation on phone lines already primed to be mad at me. And that kind of shook me for most of my life and colored the way I see careers forever. Like, one of my first jobs was just phone support for several companies, several of which you would know by name, but I don't want to, discuss that. So, yeah, I mean, goodness. I was planning on playing coy because I knew it was going to be a non-salaried position. I was going to be like, oh, really? That's interesting. And just sort of play along with them and then drop okay, so what's the salary of this position? And then that was my plan. That was my initial plan. I even had it all, not like fully scripted, but I already had like, a whole bunch of thoughts about how I would deal with it, Rejection sensitivity would explain a bit of the thing. Hey, GD, how's it going? How you feel over the years? That's fair. I mean, it's a thing. It is actually a thing. People don't talk about it because people don't know that it actually has a name, frankly, a lot of people just genuinely do not know that it's a thing. But yeah, one of my first jobs was tech support, and that tech support job really did prime me for always assuming that the customer was an antagonist, that everybody is primed to hurt you, which is a bad mindset to be in any stage of your life. And learning to deal with that and process that was both a good learning experience that helped me grow as a person and helped me get over that sort of fear, and also sucked, and also caused trauma. So yeah, I recorded the whole thing, but I don't think it'll be good enough, interesting enough to be a video. I talked about this in one of my Discords early. Well, actually, live talked about it while it was going on in one of my Discords, and sec. Just gotta pull up something here. Don't mind me. Don't worry, it's very funny and worth waiting for, I promise. The response was this. So someone actually made this, and it's like, you know, you're making that look real tempting. You're making that look real funny right now. You know, I know, I love this as a joke. I really do. I appreciate it. But boy howdy, is like, if you're trying to convince me not to do it, this is not how to go about it. This, like, this right here is not how you convince me not to do something. Also, they totally outed themselves as somebody who wasn't subscribed because they hit the subscribe button was not selected. So, you know, do subscribe. That's something that I would recommend to everybody. Subscribing is a cool thing for cool people. So that's pretty much how that went. So that was... hold on. Wait for it. That was the first scam interview that I got invited to. I was invited to another one as well, though. I haven't gone to that one yet, but that one actually is in person. And this one is even more scammy. You'd think, wait, Jade, how? This is literally an MLM pyramid scheme. How is that? How is something more scammy? No. Trust me. How am I a magnet for this? I signed up for Monster.com. I put my resume on Monster.com. And I'm pretty sure that what they do is that they scrub for anybody on Monster.com who they've not already reached out to, and send you a text message to contact them, and, you know, and shotgun approach, you know? Because the thing is, both of them are zero commission. One, I think, is selling a product, the other, and this one was selling a service. But both were zero commission sales positions. And the thing with a zero commission sales position is there's no limit to how many people you want in your sales force. Because as a company, you only get money when you sell a product. And you only pay your sales team when they sell a product. So if you have one person working on your sales team, you get money when that one person sells something, and you don't pay them if they don't. If you have 6 billion people on your sales team, you still get money when they sell something, and don't pay them when they don't. So there's no reason not to have as infinite as possible of a sales team, because why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? Like, there's literally no incentive not to. There's no upper limit on the size of your sales force. There's no reason not to maximize the size of your sales force. It's entirely within your goal set to make your sales force quite literally as big as it is even possible to make. So yeah, I mean, that's why. Like, there's no cost to them to get people on board. That's really what it is. There's zero cost to them to get people onboarded into their program. But yeah, so like, I am a magnet for crazy stuff in general, but like, I don't think this one, I think, is just a matter of putting my resume out there and them fishing for literally every person who has ever put a resume anywhere in the hopes that they can, you know, well, scam you. That's what it is, right? I mean, why call it anything else, right? What is my opinion on s'more flavored ramen? I would try it. It sounds wretched, but I would try it. Because of course I would. It's me. I would try it for the bit. I would try it to see if it was interesting. I believe... Look. Hedonism by modern descriptions, is doing things that make you happy. Which is a really limited mindset, because the modern views of hedonism are like doing things that are very short term and very usually bad for you. Something like, eating grapes on a reclined couch like a Roman, or doing a bunch of drugs, or doing nothing but drinking all day. That's what modern people think of hedonism as, whereas what actual Greek hedonism is long-term happiness. It's making your life something in a way that focuses and forwards things that make you happy, and hedonism is not always overindulgence. It's not always, doing something that will cause you regret, because it will cause pain the next day as well. If you do drugs, hard drugs, you're probably going to get more unhappiness out of it than happiness. Hedonism is just a mindset that focuses on making yourself as happy as possible. So things, for me, things that I've done for, that, and so I am a hedonist, is why I say all this. So for me, thinking what hedonism means is things that make me happy, like being a YouTuber, like, going for a walk with Tara, going to the hot springs, training Tara to be a therapy dog brought me a lot of joy, and it brought a lot of other people happiness too. Liking the video brings me a lot of happiness, so I do that whenever I can to make sure that the creators know that I appreciate them. So, things like that is hedonism as well. So I am a hedonist, and that's why I do all this crazy stuff in my life, because the crazy stuff that I do makes me happy, because the experience and the unique experience of each of these is interesting and exciting, Like the Vegas Denny's, or getting lost in the desert, or Redacted, or going out and into the Fae and meet and seeing if anything comes, and these ideas, are themselves unhinged and crazy, only if you think of them as, only if you're thinking of safety first. Yeah, everything on the list. Everything on the list. Tuzzy, just pick 3 things on the list at random and put them in chat. That's... go for it. Okay? The Fae is untrustworthy? Absolutely not. The Fae are the most trustworthy things that you will ever meet, because they're incapable of lying. What they say will be true. The Fae are perfectly trustworthy. Perfectly and completely. You just have to be careful about the details, but that does not mean that they're not trustworthy. And honestly, if you treat them well, they'll treat you well. Don't be weird about it, and don't try to to scam them, But be chill about it, right? Help them. Don't ask for things in return, but help more than you ask for. It's the nature of many people to try to get a better deal than they give. And that's where you get scammed by the Fae, is when you try to get a better deal than you give. That is inadvisable. Got hypothermia. Yep, that was fun. That was in camping in the middle of winter. Got stabbed. I didn't actually... No, I did actually get stabbed. Fair. No, I mean, I've been stabbed once and I've been threatened to stab once. So those are 2 different events, though. Those are 2 completely different events. Trying to lower core temp with alcohol because of broken air conditioner. In my defense, it worked. So I don't want to hear anything about that one. It worked. That worked. That's not... Okay, the list is things that I did that may have gotten me killed. That's what Tuzzy's been keeping track of, a list of things that may have gotten me killed for years now. Got launched off an alpine slide? No, that one should have killed me. No, that's fair. Yes, it worked. Having alcohol thins your bloodstream. If you are dying of if you are dying of the cold, if you are getting, if you are in danger, alcohol can temporarily be good to save you. Temporarily. There's a reason that rescue kits for snow climbers involves alcohol, because it takes the temperature away from your core and puts it to your limbs so that you have the energy to move them to get to somewhere safe, but it will absolutely end you very quickly because now you are losing heat faster. You are losing heat and you will freeze faster. Hey, guess what? If it's super hot out, it does the same thing. It disperses the heat from your core back out to your limbs in better. Well, what does a better job of ventilating? Your kidney or your hands? So getting your blood a bit thinner and getting getting it spread out, the heat spread out of your body to your hands is basically improving the water cooling in your body. It actually it does help lower your core temperature. Jade, how are you alive for this long? For someone who has made a list, how many times that you might have died? Actually, the shrimp were fine! Sorry, the shrimp were fine, Tuzzy. Don't... No, the milk is fair. No, that's the one. That one's fair. Tuzzy, I said 3. You don't need to keep going. It's... Also... The best way to interact with the Fae is to engage them in trickery. They will more likely win, but they know when to stop, and you get some cool stuff. You know what? That's valid. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You have to make sure it's playful though, and you have to be using the Fae definition of playful. And if you don't know that, you probably shouldn't do it. I am not saying, hey, go play on the go play with the Fae. I'm saying that if you stay clever and keep your wits about you and are polite and don't try to get a better deal than you're giving, people give the Fae a bad rap. They are not the evil tricksters like people think they are. Like, no, they're playful and they're fun, and they will absolutely run you through the coals if they think that you're trying to take advantage of them. And humans have a, how can I get more out of this bargain than I'm giving, all the time. It's frustrating. Humans are just always like that, and I hate it. That the Denny's that was on the list that killed. No. You went to the hospital for dehydration like 3 times as a kid before you refused to drink water? Wow. Oh, jeez. Hey, Tuzzy, I got a surgery for that. I'm good now. Probably. Fae spirits for my culture have a very big difference between play and cruel. Do play. Yeah. Hype play. Oh no, it can stay on the list because that was bad. I was actually in a voice chat in the Discord when that happened, and people actually got to hear in real time as an entire shelving unit collapsed onto me, pinning me on the floor with a dislocated shoulder for about 20 minutes until I was able to die hard my shoulder back into place against the floor and then wiggle out from beneath it. It was unpleasant. Yeah, has been to America. I've been to America several times. You wish you were there? Yeah, well. Did I make a deal with it? Look, I know that I'm immortal because if I wasn't, I wouldn't be alive by now. And yeah, every once in a while you have to test it to make sure it still works, right? You have to test it to make sure it's still working. That's all. Okay? Yeah. I'm glad you missed that one. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Jade test God every day. True. True and confirmed. Ha. So, I'm going to put in a handful. How many lines can I add to a... poll? Alright, let's put some stuff in here. I'm gonna put in a bunch of stuff into a poll and to see what happens with it. How many options will it give me? It only gives me 4? It only gives me 4 options? I'm pissed off with that. Alright. What? No, Buck, I was on my headset at that point. I was actually live on... I was actually on my headset then. You heard it fall, I believe. Alright, poll is up of what game I should play next between these things. There are several good games on this list. I recommend voting if you would like to vote, but you certainly don't have to. Alright, I'll keep that up for like 20 minutes or whatever. I'm just gonna vibe for a bit. So I need to set up something on, I think it's Indeed, or is it called? Was it like another of these job finding sites? I need to keep on finding individual things. I actually filled out an application that's actually over the border in America. That's for Hasbro. So you were at the largest fighting game tournament. Oh, they had a Vtuber meet and greet. Nice. You talked with an auto Vtuber who was not there and talked to attendees from home. Was it who was it? Was it Slushy? I'm biased. I have Small Animation Studios. Yeah, no, it's a good game. You forget? There's a couple of otter. Oh no, what's their other name? Chester. Is it Chester? I think it's Chester. I've talked with him too. He's cool. Indeed makes me irrationally angry every time you open it. I'll look forward to seeing that. So. Ender Lilies will be up on the reason I'm not sure what to play next is because I finished up all of the Castlevania games. I guess the other option in there would be Symphony of the Night. Symphony of the Night would be fantastic. That's available on Steam, right? So you can just straight up buy Symphony of the Night.
Rated.
Really? Is Symphony of the Night not on Steam? Wow. I do kind of want to play it, though. I'll have to find a way. I can try and find a way to play it. I guess I should do... You know what? I should probably do that before I go on to... Well, I need to, like, edit or hand off the last stuff of Ecclesia. The finale of Ecclesia was bonkers hard. You guys did not want to see it live. Trust me. It's going to be heavily edited down. It would not have been pleasurable to watch me bash my face against Dracula for 2 hours straight. It was ridiculously difficult, and at least twice I lost because I beat the boss and was unclear on what I was supposed to do next. Like, I beat the boss, and then I was unclear on how to complete the fight. And that was concerning and dumb in equal parts. So, no, I did record that offline, and I'll be, again, either editing that or handing it off to be edited, depending on how money looks like it is going. Fortunately, I am in a decent place for money, so I'm not, like, you know, in a place where I'm going to just explode and die. But I am not in a position where I can... That will be uploaded on Saturday, right? I hope so. In theory, but like, oh. I hope it's up on Saturday, but I can't promise. Also, I'm going to record the last episode of Final Fantasy VI Randomizer. I know that both of those are finales in the waiting. And honestly, like, thinking about my life right now, I have a lot of finales in the waiting. I have, like, Spy X Family that I'm pretty close to finishing. I have, a, game Let's Play that I just have another episode or 2 left. I have a few episodes left of, like, 4 different anime. I have some YouTube... Like, for some reason, right now, at this exact moment right now, I actually have several situations that I just need to push over the edge into completing, which is a weird position to be in, frankly. So later Alligator came in. Now I will run a second poll. I'm not going to bracket this, I'm just going to put later Alligator as one of the options in this one. Okay, and what's the last one? You know what would be really funny and dishonest? I could do a poll to ask if you guys would prefer if I do live streamed content or if I do recorded content, and it would be so skewed because everybody watching are the people who watch my live content and would probably vote for that, which is very funny to me, actually. But yeah, I've talked about that several times. I don't need to talk about it again. You know where I stand on that. And what was the other one? I had something else I was going to put here. I love my clacky keyboard. It's actually not that loud of a keyboard overall, but it does still pick up on the mic neatly. And I don't mind that because you can know if I'm typing, you know? So in some games, the clacky controller can add to the experience, frankly. You know what? What? Sure, this one. Bam. Pull round 2. Later Alligator was the winner from last one. Symphony of the Night is realistically what I'm probably going to do next anyways. Like, regardless of poll, I hate to say it. But that's the one that is... that's the one that is the last Castlevania game that isn't done. Soldiers I started as a recorded playthrough before, and I just kind of... It wasn't getting views, and I kind of dropped it, but I regret it because the game was gorgeous and I was really having fun. But I could never convince myself to play it and not make content out of it, which is a dangerous place for a content creator to be in mentally. Because I started making content out of it, and I always wanted to go back to it, but I never really went back to it. But it's a gorgeous game. It's a gorgeous and really fun game. And I do want to make more out of it. And then I just picked Doronko Wonko, just because it's a funny puppy game. You play as a dog, and you play as a Pomeranian, and your job is to get everything dirty as possible. Is to just go ham, spill beverages, get stuff in your fur, and then shake everywhere. It looks quite fun. You saw the Soldiers episodes, the one with 3 classes? Yeah, exactly. You like being in VC with me and hearing the keyboard start to clack, knowing I'm time zoning? But I think it's satisfying. It's not like an ASMR satisfying, but it just feels cool. I don't know. It just feels nice. It's just pleasant. You know what I'm saying? It's just pleasant, frankly. So the cat game, but dog instead. Yeah, the cat game, but instead of knocking things over, your staining and you know and breaking stuff. Clackety clackety feels so good for reals though. The nightmare if I can make content out of this. Yes, the best thing that I can advise to anybody who's making content, which I know is the majority, I know not majority, but I know is a lot of my audience. The best thing I can advise is to make sure that you have games that you don't make content off of. Make sure you have a handful of games that you do not now and will never use for content. Because if you do that and it doesn't work, and everything you do is for content, and you only play games when you're streaming, you will burn out so much faster. That's how you burn out. If you want to speedrun burnout, do that. If you want to start hating video games forever, make everything you do surrounding video games only content creation. Because pretty soon, you'll hit at that wall where it's like, you don't have any way of relaxing. Where you don't have anything of sitting back and unwinding, because now you're sitting back and unwinding puts you naturally in the headspace of content creation, which is a good headspace to be in, but not one that you want to be in all the time, and not one that you want to replace your ability to use something to relax. So like for me, it's things like playing Baldur's Gate with a friend. I've been playing more Into the Breach lately. I adore that game. Octopath Traveler is one of my big offline games. And honestly, I'm probably going to go back and replay Octopath Traveler 1 because it's been a while since I played it and I love it. Yeah. I was watching a lot of the Games Done Quick lately, because Games Done Quick is a delight. And I love speedrunning, I love speedrunners, I wish that I enjoyed making speedruns more, but I get more out of unique experiences and unique storylines and games that have a beginning and end. And I value those more. I find that I value those more, which is why I don't. And speedrunning is definitionally playing one game for 600 hours until you can, be super fast at it. So, like, even though I adore speedrunning, it's not something that I want to do. It's not something that I want to make stuff out of. You know what I mean? For you, it's Western RPGs that take 2 months to finish. Fair. Understandable. Any super long games like Western RPGs with, 30,000 hours. Yeah, The Witcher. I could absolutely start playing The Witcher. I've thought about it several times, but I believe there is some not stream safe content in it, and I don't know where it is. And well, I don't know how well it'll do. So I think that might be one of my next offline games. I feel like that's not something that I'm going to be streaming. And maybe I'll change my mind on that at some point, but I did not pick up the Elden Ring DLC. My friend gave me a bunch of money to pay for it, and I used it to buy multiple games that I can stream on the channel. And that was a dumb thing for me to do, because frankly, I do want to play Elden Ring, but I may have an ability to access it in the near future anyways. So I'll have access. I'll have a way of accessing it soon. I should have some extra. I'm gonna be okay. I'll be able to play Elden Ring in the near future. Basically. I speedrun 1 day out of the week for funsies. That's fair. I don't even know what I would speedrun. Like my instinct is Final Fantasy Legend 3, but speedrunning also takes the mystery out of a game. Like if it's a game that you like, because of either a storyline or of the whimsy or of the, I don't know, just general interest, you will lose some of that interest because you will know everything about it mechanically, and you will optimize the fun out of it in a sense. Pardon. Play crop rotation mostly on stream because it's the one you struggle to commentate. Yeah, and that's one thing. Like I feel like I can commentate anything. I really do. I feel like there's not really any game I can think of offhand that I would be incapable of doing commentary for, because I can yap. I can just open my mouth and let words fall out for pretty much no matter what I'm doing, you know? So I'm not too worried about that. I always prefer to be playing a game over just chatting in general. I like to have my brain engaged, and I get a lot more fidgety, and I get more distracted, frankly, when I don't have a game going on at the same time. So I do like playing games while I do this more than just chat streams for life. You know what I mean? It's just, I know you guys like it, and I know they do well, and I feel really weird about it, but I honestly feel like just cranking open Power Wash Simulator right now and doing a chat stream while I'm doing power washing. Like, that feels more engaging to me personally. Oh, Symphony of Night Tide. Ooh, neat. For a speedrunning thing in Dead Cells, it's only first 3 biomes and first boss. Yeah, there's speedrunning categories that go through different targets. That's pretty common. That's nice. If you want me to continue doing chatting content, I mean, leave a like anyways, but realistically I'll probably do, occasional chat streams, like 1 a week. Usually I only want to chat if I have something to say. And like today, I don't even feel like today I have anything to say, right? I'm just kind of, hanging out. Feel free to ask questions, by the way. You have difficulty not engaging when I'm talking directly with someone? All your focus is on them? Sometimes, yeah. I mean, it varies for me. I guess that's just all I can say on that front, is that varies for me. Can you drink the potions on the avatar? Yes. I mean, I can't. I can interact with them. I can actually move them if I can. Going. Is it? Am I getting clipping here? I don't know. Maybe I think my hand tracking isn't the best right now for some reason. But yes, they do. They are physics, and they're not really moving right now. Whatever. I'll have to worry about that later. But we actually have figured out what the potions are. I don't actually remember, but we figured out the lore of what the potions were. I remember that one's an invisibility potion for emergencies, and the yellow one is actually just honey mustard. It's on the bottom here, you can't really see it. And yeah, actually, no, right, the gender fluid. I actually think that was the third one. So yes, I do remember what they are. Neat. Hey, medic. How do you write characters? Your sister is good at writing characters, and I know how she writes them, but you write differently from her. Oh, okay. Motivation. The most important thing in any character writing is motivation and incentivization. Motivation being what drives them to want something, and incentivization being what they are guided to do, what seems right to the person, what is being given to them as options that they can take. If you want to write, if you want to write a good story, you need to know both of those independently of each other. They might overlap, but they might not. For every character that is plot relevant. A lot of writers will make NPCs a monolith. And by doing so, you rob yourself of the ability to create a dynamic world. Look at Fallout New Vegas, generally considered to be one of the best written games in the world. Every individual character in that game has their own unique and interesting plans, goals, hopes, and dreams. And you have to, you have to be respectful of that, I suppose, but you have to consider that when you're writing. You don't always have to do that for every single story, of course, but any character that has a name is a good way of thinking about it. Must. And look, in this house, we sort by taste. When you go for the moss, what do you want? You want it for cooking, you want it for eating. Therefore, you sort it by taste so that you can get the right flavor profile that you want. If you sort it by color, cool! You have two completely different flavors next to each other, and the point is the flavor. So you've just completely disorganized what the entire reason that you're sorting it to begin with. Easy as. Anybody else who says otherwise is wrong. One shot's right. I haven't played one shot. Ought I have? Ought I too? Oh, that's what the silly kitty boy is from. Okay. I know nothing about this game. Other than the silly kitty boy. Girl? Boy? I actually have no idea. It's the silly kitty game. Okay, if this has horror in the tags, I'm going to just start. I'm just going to start chat banning people, and I don't know if I'll stop. Okay, someone put psychological horror, but it's really far down on the list, so you're off the hook for today. But I've got my eyes on you guys. Not horror, kind of. Yeah, that's inspiring. That's reassuring. Would you like a horror game that isn't scary? No. No, I wouldn't. There's very, very few horror games that I like. And like I said, Indigo Park I liked despite it being a horror game, not because of. Fantastic game. I really did like the world it in. I hated the horror part, especially the bouncy ball sequence. That was just unpleasant. It was just not fun for me. I didn't enjoy it. So, I wouldn't like horror recommendations. There's a short list. The number of horror games that I've actually enjoyed I can count on one hand. And that is just easily Soma, Prey, the newer 2017-ish? I don't know, whatever. So Soma and Prey are right there. Half-Life 2 is a horror game. You cannot convince me otherwise. Half-Life 2 is an atmospheric survival horror game. Just start to finish, not just Ravenholm. I could add Amnesia on there. But like, by and large, that's... Enigmatis I would not consider horror, neither would I consider Stray, despite the fact that they have the tags. Oh yeah, and Inscription. I would consider Inscription to be horror. That's really it. I would say those 5 are the 5 horror games that I enjoy. I don't think that I would realistically add another onto that. I'm skimming through my Steam library with the horror tag right now, and there's a lot of things in here that look like horror on the surface, but I wouldn't really consider horror, like Mutant Year Zero, like, not really, or In Death, it's like, no, it's a shooter. It's Undertale, it's an RPG, it's not really horror. Like, yeah, it is a little bit of, horror, but like, it's not, I wouldn't consider it horror, not in the sense that people mean when they start talking about horror, right? I just wouldn't consider that. Salt and Sanctuary, it's a Souls-like, it's not a horror game. Doom, why is Doom listed as a horror? That doesn't make any sense. Oh yeah, System Shock 2. System Shock 2 is on that list. Okay, so yeah, add System Shock 2 on there. And that's gonna be it. Maybe Alien vs Predator if I'm being generous. But the Human campaign is the only one that's horror. The Alien campaign is a Alien and Predator campaigns. Neither of them are horror games. Those are more like stealth fighter games. Aliens vs Predator is actually a pretty fun game. Like, I don't consider Dishonored to be horror either, for the record. Anyways, so yeah, I don't really care much for how many lobsters can you take in a fight, on land or in water. That's a very important caveat. Is it on land or is it in water? And am I allowed to have? And what are my options for weapons? Because if it's on land and I have a spear, as long as I have enough space to move, I could probably take down virtually an infinite amount of them. As long as I have, space to maneuver, then I'm okay. With fists, realistically, on land, probably a lot. As far, so shoreline, yeah, that's fair. As I would wait on the land and I'm not going to go in the water. If you are in the water, I'm not going to follow. Fists does make it a lot harder, but I would improvise. You say fists, I say there's rocks on the shoreline, right? I say that there's going to be, a stick I could use, right? There's going to be... When you say fists, what you mean on-site procurement. Like, that's what fist means to me, right? Fist means that you can only take what weapons are available on site. Would you rather fight a jellyfish or fight a hive of bees? You can't fight a jelly. I mean, the answer is bees, but obviously, okay, for anyone who doesn't know, I do not do well with either of those. Either jellyfish or bees are two things that I feel super uncomfortable around. So neither of those are good party times for me. But between the two of them, I would take the bees. The jellyfish you just can't do anything with. You can't defeat them because they're barely alive. They barely pass the definition for being a living creature. And the bee and the stingers would just end you. Like, okay, GG, game over. The bees certainly can kill you, but it takes a lot more of them, and you have a lot more there. Void or abyss, same thing. The void is the abyss is the void. I don't believe that there is a meaningful distinction between the two. Which dragon do I consider worth serving as a kobold? I have historically been a kobold who does not serve a dragon. There are independent kobolds, and there are even independent kobold warrens, and yeah, I believe in kobold communities and teamwork, and the risk of a dragon not being supportive or not being a good leader or not being respectful is too high for me to be comfortable with serving one. So not all kobolds serve dragons, and I'm one that doesn't. Werewolves, on the other hand, true. No notes there. Yeah, that's that's. But even there, it would be a desire more for a partnership than a service. Maybe. No, that's not true either. I disregard. No, that's a lie. Disregard. Just ignore that part. Anyways, I'm hyped for the new Monster Hunter game. You all saw the new Monster Hunter game, yeah? There's a character in it that I could absolutely cosplay, and I'm really tempted to. Let me... One second, yeah? I need to adjust this because it is an obscenely large picture. Alright, I'm just gonna be so real with you guys right now. I could totally cosplay this. This is absolutely a character cosplay that I could pull off, and is honestly not dissimilar to, I could rock that. It would be a lot of annoying stitching. That's a lot of what would have to be hand-sewn leather work But man, I could rock that. That'd be so nice. My most common cosplay is a Monster Hunter handler. Fun fact. Like, the cosplay that I've worn most and that I've kept for the longest time, aside from Dan Hibiki, because that one's just fun, is Sophia, is the Monster Hunter 4 handler. So, like, another Monster Hunter handler cosplay is very much up my alley. Yeah, right, Safi? Like, that's gonna be super hard. There's literal embossing that needs to be done. Do I like mudkips? I think they're pretty neat. And spiders are our friends. Yes, anybody who does not like spiders is a mosquito apologist. How? Oh yeah, there's also Needy Streamer Overload, which someone told me is not stream safe, but can be edited to be stream safe, which means that might be a good offline game to play to record. But I don't know if I would want to record that or just play it on my own. I don't know how intense it is. The idea of it is that you play as a manager for a streamer that's up and coming, and you need to manage their... So they're younger, and you need to actually manage their emotional state and support them, and in a way that both helps them be profitable in doing this right stream thing without hitting burnout and without hating what they're doing, which is a difficult thing to do because, you know, it's easy to do. There's a lot of things that will get you popular that you might hate. For me, it's horror games. I don't like horror games. I know I could be popular if I played Minecraft, Roblox, and Five Nights at Freddy's. I know that's a formula for success on YouTube. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I don't know that, right? But I'm not going to do that because I don't like those things. So I feel like I'm going to make better content with stuff that I like, but I know that I'm not going to get as much reach. I'm not going to get as much interest. I'm not going to get as much draw if I'm playing things that I don't like. And I know I tell that to myself, even though I'm lying to myself, because I know that those popular things are going to get numbers. For you, would be 18 plus content. Like, honestly, I like my family-friendly all ages thing. You know, this is a nice, comfortable place where people can forget about capitalism. You know, like I like the way that my community works, and I'm perfectly fine not doing any 18 plus content because for that exact reason, you know. Like, that's why. That's I don't want to pander to the oh Nietzsche. Like, no. That's if someone falls in love with my character or me, it's going to be because I am the type of person who info dumps a whole bunch of random knowledge that I have onto them, like I did in Indigo Park. It's not going to be because I make googly eyes and talk in baby voices, you know? Like, if people are going to fall for me, and it's going to be because because I'm the kind of person who would go to a pyramid scheme seminar and because it would be funny. It's not going to be because I just go, Oni-chan, genki desu ka? No, like that's not. It's disingenuous, and you guys care about genuinity, genuineness. Yes. You edit, isn't it? Aw. As if it. What? Yes, info dumping is a love language. Absolutely is. I should do more VR chat stuff. I should just be in VR chat more. The reason I'm not in VR chat very often is because I have Phantom Touch. And I don't want to go into public spaces in VR chat, because I have had someone who had a very, like, large tail, and I'm talking, like, you know, large as my body, just turn around and had it rail me in the chest, and it just went, ugh! because I have that phantom touch, and I actually needed to pause and clutch my chest for a moment to, like, recover from it. I don't want to be in a public space with people doing things that make me uncomfortable. As a result, I don't meet new people in VR chat. As a consequence, I tend not to go into VR chat because I don't know people and I don't, like, get invited. Like, I'm not the kind of person who gets invited to places. I never have been my entire life. I'm not the kind of person that people invite to places, you know? Like, I'm the kind of person that people go, oh, hey, it's them. Nice. Hey, how you doing? Or, oh, hey, cool. It's Jade. I'm not the person that goes, you know, we should invite, like, we should invite Jade. No, that's not what happens with me. That's not the life I live. That's not how people think about me, you know? That's just not what's happened. VR chat's wild. I want to make, okay. I hinted at it for a while, a long time ago, but I was actually, I actually did commission someone to make the comfy cave, the background, you know, this setting, right? You all know it. You've all seen all of these, you know, the entrance, the waterfall, my house in here, the entryway, this part here leading to the outside, this being the same thing that is this tree over here is mirrored here. It's actually a very cleared, mapped layout. The Comfy Cave is a very cohesive world. And I actually did commission someone to make it as a VR chat world, and I got scammed. I commissioned someone whose works look nothing like their portfolio, and the quality was awful. So I just trashed the concept until either I have enough money to give someone to make it well, or yeah, that's it. Until I have enough money to pay someone to make it well. So but that was going to be a surprise. I was working on that around the time that I had this. And oh yeah, GD, like, hey, name your price. Like, I unironically name your price, and I'll work towards hitting it. Genuinely, but like, you'll make me when you get time, dude. I will compensate you. I absolutely will compensate, but I want it done well. I want it done like, you know, like these environments, you know, here. So like, you have to wait till next year. Yeah, that's fair. That's completely fair. So, I was going to drop it as a surprise, and I started working on that around the same time that I got this model. I initially wanted to debut this model in a 3D Comfy Cave. That was the original plan, was to debut this model in the cave itself. And it didn't pan out, and it still hasn't panned out, and as much as I would like it, and like, it would also be good advertising for me, like, it would be a good world for a VR chat, you know, and so it would just be a good world to exist and vibe in. So, and then I could use it as an advertising, just, you know, just, hey, come visit Jade the Kobold at the youtube.com.television.youtube, and, you know, get some traffic. I thought it would be a really cute idea, but, whatever. That was the plan at one point. What I want to do now is I want to get this background here as a tapestry, because there's a few places online where you can get custom tapestries, and I want to get an enormous, like, 3 meter by 4 meter tapestry. Well, I guess that would be 4 by 3 resolution, so like 5 meter by 3 meter. Would that be like 16 by 9? I don't know. Basically, get this cave as this picture as a giant tapestry, and then also get this one as a tapestry, and put them on each side of my room, like my bedroom, I mean, so that my bedroom, you know, I would wake up in the comfy cave. I want that. It would just make me happy, you know. It would just. By the way, there is a fourth wall page. If people didn't know, there is a fourth wall page, and. Oh, yeah. So you actually can get pictures, like framed pictures and prints of this artwork. That is available to anybody who desires it. I should probably put the link somewhere. Apparently, VShojo just opened applications as of, like, a few minutes ago. And I've already been pinged twice telling me to apply to it. So, that's neat. And there. Simple print pillow, a couple of sticker sheets with all the channel emotes on them, and honestly, a really tasteful mousepad. The mousepad's good, and then everything else is just all the prints of the Comfy Cave regions. Also, the details on how your character hears. Yeah, I mean. The character is not so subtly based on iguana, and tympanic membranes are, you know, ears, the pink spots. Rawr. So, any other questions or thoughts or things? Thoughts and questions and cool stuff. Oh. So I do think I am going to play Symphony of the Night next if I can get my hands on it, which I should be able to, but it shouldn't be that hard to get. Like, how to play Symphony of the Night. I have it on a disc somewhere, I think. It's not officially playable without PC? Really? Huh. Well, I have ways. I mean, I have a disc, so, like, whatever. Favorite type of ramen or udon? Tempura udon. Tempura udon is my favorite. It is very good. Head's too big for VR, so you never looked at it. That's fair. How does VR chat even work? Pretty straightforward. You could put in, VR chat is actually kind of like a perfect game in a lot of ways. You put on your headset, you go into a lobby. You can click on a room like a chat room. So it's very old school chat room coded. Like, and when you go into the lobby, you can pick one that's populated or not populated, or you can see for your friends list and join one with them, and then you just are in a room with people there. And because it's in VR, you get the in-person feeling of, you know, seeing people nod, seeing people use their hands to talk, doing things like that. It's really just a good social media that lets you feel like you're in the room with people. It gives a lot of convention vibes, especially when you're in a room with a bunch of anime characters or furries. It feels very anime-con in its nature. Thoughts on pizza? What's my fave? I like pepperoni, bacon, mushroom, spinach. Add some salt and pepper, and you're good to go. Maybe some basil or rosemary if you want to. But pepperoni, bacon, mushroom, spinach is kind of my ideal. I'll drop mushrooms if someone doesn't like them. I'll drop spinach if someone doesn't like them. But pepperoni and bacon are non-negotiable and go very well together. Thoughts on pineapple on pizza? It's fine if. It's fine if you have a plan. Just putting a pineapple on any pizza? No, piss off, get out of here. Making a Hawaiian pizza that has some pineapple and some fresh ham on it? Totally valid. Maybe using a different type of sauce that blends better with it. If you go in with a plan, there's nothing wrong with pineapple on pizza. putting pineapple on a random pizza is not acceptable. Also, fresh pineapple, not canned. I can agree with that. Same thing with hot sauce on pizza. If you go in with a plan with some shredded chicken on the pizza, and instead of like your pepperoni and whatnot, if you go in with some pizza with some shredded chicken and some buffalo sauce, delightful. If you put some Tabasco on some regular pizza, what are you doing? Who let you out of your cage? Why are you here? It is a big sliding scale, and nothing is black and white. Nothing is linear. Nothing is always good, always bad. Pineapple on pizza can be okay if it's organized, planned, and you have a goal in mind. Likewise with hot sauce. Alfredo sauce instead of tomato with mushroom bacon. Okay, so carbonara. It's a carbonara pizza, basically. That sounds quite good. I would have that. That actually sounds delightful. Actually, I really want that now. Dang! Make me a pizza! VR chat sounds like a lot of old school MMOs without terrible mechanics. Yeah, it's basically a first-person VR MMO with no combat mechanics. That's honestly a weirdly accurate description of it. And it's also nostalgia. Like, even hop into... There's actually a surprising number of Final Fantasy XI worlds, and I like them, because I'll just hang out in Relude Gardens. I'll just hang out in Alteu in Sea. I'll just hang out in Ruan Gardens in Sky, and just vibe. I'll hang out in Sandoria, and then I'll just, like, pull up my... I haven't logged in like 6 months or something? Jeez. Since, maybe even more. I think it was Ferality Aqua it was last time. Goodness. But I will just sit back and relax in VR, pull up a screen, and put, I don't know, Hearthstone with Brian Kibler, or put on like a Playframe Let's Play channel, thing, and just sit back and relax in VR in a space that I know and recognize, like Kakariko Village, Juno, something like that. It's just really pleasant. You miss 11 so much? Yeah, 11 was a great game. It was also a terrible game, but my goodness, did I love it whenever it was either of those. It was both the best and worst game, and I loved it in both cases. I hot sauce how I want. Tuzzy, go back in your cage. You know the rules. What's the plan for content this week? Honestly, I don't have much of one, which is why I'm doing this. I have the Order of Ecclesia recorded. I don't know if I'm going to have time to edit it. I need to record the Final Fantasy VI randomizer. Then I need to edit that. And, like, I don't know. And I kind of was like, you know what? Indigo Park, go. Then it's like, okay, Indigo Park was a one-stream event. Okay. Like, okay, there's not enough content in Indigo Park to play through it multiple times. Then what am I doing now? Let me grab a couple of these Metroidvanias off of Steam and chat with people, figure out what people want to see. You know what I'm saying? I've done Helldivers and Dark and Darker a few times on the Twitch.television. I don't use Twitch often. Usually I only do it like maybe once a week, if that. Usually it's when I'm collabing with Sprig. But yeah, I do hop on there once in a while. Deltarune, it's free. I'm waiting for all of Deltarune to be out. I do want to play Deltarune, but it, like Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'm waiting for all of the parts of it to be out so I can play all of it combined. That's my goal, my hope, my dream, is I want to experience the game without having to wait at a cliffhanger for multiple years. You know what I'm saying? Do I have any game addictions? I mean, I used to play Final Fantasy XI to an extreme amount. Like, I have something like 10,000 hours in that game. It's a shameful amount. But in general, right now, I keep on opening up Into the Breach whenever I have extra time to kill. It's a good game. I love it. Backpack Hero is also one that I have a strangely high number of hours in for what seems to be like a good but kind of mediocre game. I just find myself playing it all the time. I just find myself like, what should I do? I'll crack this open. I do have Balatro, but I haven't really been playing it. I know that's addictive for a lot of people, but it wasn't for me. I could also record Lies of P more. I kind of set that down for a little while because I didn't see... Because the last episode was really disappointing because I had a lot of corrupted video. And that made me feel really sad. I really enjoyed the last episode, but I had a lot of corrupted video feed, and I wasn't sure how to go forward with that. How do I make another episode when people couldn't see a third of the previous one, Have I seen Cassette Monsters? Anytime someone says the music is so good, I assume that the music is going to get me a copyright DMCA'd. Cassette Monsters. There's 2 S's in cassette. Cassette Beasts? Is that the one? Cassette Beasts. Never heard of it. Creature Collector. I like games that have storylines. That's really my biggest thing, is I like games that have a narrative and a start and a finish, which honestly mirrors my taste in the anime as well. We were talking about anime. Spiritfarer is actually a fantastic option. I should play that, and do I think I might even have it? Do I not? Huh. I've been meaning to play that, and I just have never played it. 75% off. Huh. But, yeah. In general, I like games that, much like I like my anime. I like something that has a good storyline. I like something that has good characterization. I like something that has a defined beginning, middle, and end. I don't want to watch 1,000 episodes of One Piece or play 1,000 episodes of Call of Duty. I don't want to watch 1,000 episodes of Bleach or Jujutsu Kaisen or any of these other long-running shonen anime, Fairy Tail. But I would love to play to watch One Punch Man. I would love. Actually, that's one that I was going to recommend to some people last night. I forgot the name. I forgot about it though. Dang. If you were in chat, if you were in the Discord last night, One Punch Man was one of the things I was going to recommend. Like would love to watch One Punch Man. I would love to watch, a Spy X Family. I would love to watch a show like that. I wouldn't like to watch a long-running series. I don't want to play 10,000 games of League of Legends. I want to play Final Fantasy VI. I wouldn't want to play 10,000 episodes of Minecraft or 5 Nights at Freddy's. I would love to play, Later Alligator or like a Dark Souls game. You know what I'm saying? So like my taste in anime mirrors my taste in games. At least it does at this point in my life. It's not always, and it fluctuates from here to there. One Punch Man is the best story about depression you've ever seen. I would say it's a story about ennui, which is technically different from depression. I don't know. Ennui and depression are not the same thing, and I feel like One Punch Man is about ennui. Though, if that helps you with process depression, or if you're using that as a way of describing both those things, yeah, fair. No, that's understandable. I have a playthrough of Wander Song on the channel, actually. Go watch it. It was fun. I did a good job with it. I also almost died. Actually, live in person, live on camera with my old model and a much worse voice. I actually have played Wander Song on stream, and one of the things on Tuzzy's lists happened live on the stream. That's a fact. That's true. That's actually a thing that happened. I don't drink caffeine, and No, Safi, that was the Red Bull. That was me having a caffeine drink because of the caffeine pirates, and me being able to feel my heart pump and feel the blood running through my veins. That was uncomfortable. But yeah, that playthrough is actually on the channel. I actually did that. I recorded that as in YouTube Kids format, like YouTube Kids, but because it is because it's sort of a younger audience game. But yeah, there's a playlist on the playlist tab that I remember being proud of, at least. You point to depression due to character in season 2. That's hard to explain without spoiler. That's fair. Yeah. I think a lot of people conflate ennui and depression, though. Like, those are two different things, which One Punch Man addresses more of the ennui than depression, in my opinion. And my opinion is allowed to be wrong, but that's, everyone gets different things out of things, which is the point of narratives. Because that's how stories work. Like the video, please. I beg you. More questions or thoughts? Ba-da-ba? Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba? When are we getting a video essay? I'm going to be recording lines for it tomorrow. I want to do it, and honestly, like, I know I need a new job, but I want to spend, like, my job time working on video essay, but I also want to keep streaming because I like making content and I like, doing stuff with you guys, but I feel like if I'm going to spend more time on video essay work, it's going to have to come from streaming time. Because I only have a couple nights a week where I don't stream, and those are nights where I tend to actually have to do, like, house stuff where I make sure that this building's not going to fall down a mountain. Like, there's a non-zero amount of work, and I've been completely ignoring a lot of it, and, like, because of my shoulder surgery, I haven't been able to do a lot of the work that's been necessary for the house. Any advice for starting a world build? Think first about what the emotional core is of your story, and what the story is meant to present. If you do not have a world until you know what kind of story your world is meant to tell. If you are at the point of your storytelling where you haven't figured out what the emotional core of your narrative is, you are not ready to flesh out your world building. Your world is the most important character in your story. If you want to see evidence of that, go read Isaac Asimov. He is a fantastic example of the world is a character and needs both to be fleshed out and have growth as much as your main cast. The world should grow, and the world should be fleshed out in the same way that your characters are. So that's my advice for world building. Look at the Friday game with the Pathfinder game. Like, the world is built around the idea of the emotional core of the story. The emotional core of the story is the idea of meeting new people of different cultures and recognizing that everybody has their own problems, world, and outlook on it, while never embracing the concept of a general good guy, bad guy. Everybody has their own goals and plans, and that world would not work for a chosen one narrative. That world would simply fall apart if I tried to use it to tell a story about something, about I don't know, like racism. You can't really make the story about racism. The world isn't built for that, right? Like, it's just not what that world is made to handle. The world is made to handle the idea of open cultures and ideas. you can't. It would not work to have a force of nature villain in that world, which goes into the villain archetypes question. Like, that world could not support a force of nature villain, because a force of nature villain is, by its very nature, a villain that rejects being humanized, that rejects being considered as a character in a lot of ways. Someone like Kefka only works because their motivation is outside of most people's ability to comprehend. It's not a rational, sort of thing any more than a hurricane is rational, any more than an earthquake is rational. It is a force of nature in this world, and the force of nature villains are very hard to do well. But the New World campaign would not handle a force of nature villain just by its nature, just by its construction. And I do like force of nature villains. They can be extremely good. Both Kefka, Sephiroth, and Pagan Min are examples of force of nature villains who only sometimes interact with the story, but are always in an effect on the world. Their influence on the world is their existence, is how they perpetuate. Their villainy is not by actually being active in it, but by simply existing as a force of nature. And Sephiroth is overhyped. Final Fantasy VII is overhyped, but I think that the remake, from what I've seen of it, is phenomenal. But Sephiroth is not a great villain. Never has been. Kefka's a much better villain than Sephiroth. Golbez is a much better villain than Sephiroth. Exdeath is a much better villain than Sephiroth. Exdeath is an absolute jerk. Exdeath is downright cruelty incarnate. And, like, are you kidding me? No. that Sephiroth is very milquetoast in comparison to the actual development and progression of Golbez, compared to the sheer cruelty of Exdeath, compared to the insanity and overwhelming power of Kefka. Very few villains in writing in general can match the power level of Kefka. Real talk. Like, if you want to make a villain that can go toe to toe with Kefka, you are fighting an uphill battle, friend, because a lot of villains try to destroy the world. Very few of them actually pull it off. But he loves his mama, and honestly, I wish they did more of that. Guy, seriously, I wish that Sephiroth actually was more front and center about his obsession with his mother. Like, that would have made them more interesting. That would have made the character more dynamic and influential on the world. Instead, Sephiroth and the reunion and everything around that ends up not being a characterized villain. It ends up being a force of nature. Ultimacia is more interesting than people give her credit for, and honestly is a fleshed out villain, not a force of nature villain. And Final Fantasy VIII needed another disc. Final Fantasy VIII needed another disc, or to cut out a bunch of the fluff in the middle. Because Final Fantasy VIII's biggest problem, aside from the mechanics are trash garbage, but the Final Fantasy VIII's biggest problem is that the storyline ends too quickly, as they just dump plot point after plot point after plot point into your face without any regard for the actual narrative that they've built. There's no real functional progression in the plot that lets you take in and absorb the truth of the world. They obfuscate the world for so long that when they finally come out and make the world make sense, they have no more space. They have no more narrative space, that is, to do it in. So they have to rush it, and they rush it too fast for it to be satisfying. I think that Ultimacia. Okay. Real quick, Final Fantasy VI remake in the style of Final Fantasy VII remake. I would love it. It would be extremely difficult to do. I have thoughts about how to do it well. I'll cover those later. I could do, you know what? Maybe sometime this week I'll do an entire stream on that, because I have a lot of thoughts on how to make a Final Fantasy VI remake. Whatever. Final Fantasy VII. Great. No notes. Everything I've seen is perfect. Final Fantasy IX, which is soft confirmed, by the way. Wait, am I allowed to say that? Never mind. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. It is going to be a delight. I love those characters, and giving it the Final Fantasy VII Remake treatment is going to be phenomenal. I love the cartoonish whimsy of 9, and the way 9 feels more like 5 or 4 than 6, 7, 8, or 10. Final Fantasy IX is a classic Final Fantasy game, and I mean that in the most charming sense of the word. But Final Fantasy VIII is the one that needs it the most. Final Fantasy VIII needs the remake treatment more than any of the other Final Fantasy games, because it is shattered. It is incomplete. It is broken narratively. I don't mean like mechanically. The mechanics are broken too. Again, the mechanics are trash garbage. But the actual writing in 8 is broken and needs to be fixed. As much as I am insanely hyped to see how they capture the childlike whimsy and cartoonish expressiveness that is at the core of Vivi and Steiner and every single character in that entire game, I really desperately hope that they keep that whimsy. And from what I've seen of Kate Sith in the 7 remake, I think they will do that. I think they will be able to capture it. But 8 needs that remake. 8 needs the remake to fix its problems, because there is a good story under there. There is a good story that is just not being told. That is just not quite there. Is that better? Have I fixed it? So, like, yeah, that's my opinion. 10 remake, whatever, sure. 11 remake, oh my god, please. I can't recommend anybody. It didn't fix it. Well, heck. How about this? That must have fixed it. I'm sweating. Final Fantasy XI also needs a remake. And Final Fantasy XI getting a Final Fantasy VII remake style remake would be really, really hype. Because there is... Ba? Is it still bad? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-bow! I don't know. Final Fantasy XI getting a remake would be really, really hype, because it has a good storyline. Just genuinely, it has one of the best storylines that Square has ever written. Chains of Promethea is one of Square Enix's best storylines. Unironically. Still there? You know, I've had some issues with VC Face. Let me reboot VC Face. I don't know if that's going to fix anything, but hey. But Chains of Promethea is an outstanding storyline. The core storyline, the Shadow Lord storyline of 11, is also a delight. Like, it's really well written. The Winder storyline is excellent writing. The Sandurian storyline is there too. There's a lot of good writing to draw from in 11 that I can't really recommend that people play, because 11 requires such a commitment of people. Even in the modern time, you need multiple people to do most things in the game. And another way of playing 11 would be great. So, like, in terms of remakes, I would say 8 and... Yeah, 8 and 11. Still Quan Chi? Well, heck. I mean, everything on my CPU side is fine. CPU, memory, disk, network, even my GPU is working at like 60%, which is entirely viable. I don't have anything else. I mean, I can reboot this. Sometimes this gets junkety-junk. I don't know. Oh. We're not gonna be going for that much longer, anywho. But yeah, that's my take on the remake things, is that... Oh, it was... Okay, so Ultra Leap needs to be rebooted. Okay, that would... Okay, I'll keep that in mind. So... Yeah, my take is that 9 would be my favorite one to be remade, 8 and 11 need it the most. Ultra Kill... Let me look it up real quick. Just... Oh, I mean... I've proven myself in first-person shooters. I've done competitive first-person shooters before. This is a roguelike, looks like. Doesn't really look like my thing. Doesn't look bad, just doesn't look like my thing, you know? One thing I do have a problem with is people recommending me games that is, that I wouldn't enjoy. Probably, like, yeah. I don't think that's a game that I would... Oh, it's also early access. No, screw that. I don't want to buy early access games. Look, I know, but I don't want to play a game that is in early access, because I don't want to ruin my own experience. I don't want to ruin my own experience with the game by playing it in a state that is not complete. I don't want my first impressions, my formative opinions of the game, coming from a game that is in an incomplete state. I say this as somebody who has worked in game development. I say this as somebody who has played games that are just starting out, that are in incomplete states all the time. I say this as somebody who knows. Trust me, any argument you're about to throw at me, I've heard before. But when I waited till Hades was released. Yes, do I want to play Hades 2? Oh my god, yes. I adore Hades. I think that Hades 2 looks incredible. I cannot wait to play it. I am incredibly excited. There's few games that I'm more excited for right now than Hades 2. But I will sit on my hands and wait for it to come out, because I know that the final version is gonna be incredible, and that's the one that I want to play. So I generally try to avoid early access games. There's few games that are in early access that I have enjoyed playing through early access in. I guess you could phrase it as, if you wanted to phrase it as that. I don't know how else to phrase it. And a lot of games just sit in the perpetual early access thing, you know? Like the infinite early access state. And that's not a game I want to play, frankly. I was not living my sober life when you play 11? But the memory of that airship attack? Which airship attack? You mean, the Chains of Promethea airship battle? I have a funny story about that battle. You don't need to have played 11 to hear the story. Don't worry, I'll explain it. But I have a very, very funny story about that battle. I've told the story on the channel once or twice, I believe. But I'll say it again because I like that. So. Hold on. Do I have... Give me one brief second here. Alright, so. I hope this doesn't have any... I have no idea who any of these people are, and I do not endorse or condone anything that's said in it, just to clarify. But... I'm just gonna play in the background while I'm talking about it. I can mute it in case there's any DMCA stuff. This battle is super hard. You know why I recommend the model's amazing? Thank you so much! Okay, so. This battle here, the one that's coming on here, is a hard fight. And someone asked me to help them through it. They asked me specifically to carry them through it because I was good at the video game, and I occasionally do good things in video games. And they were like, hey, can you help me out with this? Yeah, sure. Let me get my team together. I got a group together. And this guy says, wait a minute. You have a ninja as a tank. See, in 11, there's two different tanks. You could have ninja or paladin. Ninja is better at tanking against heavy individual target attacks, or enemies that don't have very good accuracy can use your evasion to survive it. Or paladin can survive more blunt face attacks, but had very low shield blocking skill. The shields were not as effective as the way that ninja can evade things. Anyways, the guy says to me, you can't tank this with ninja. You need a paladin tank. And I say, no, you can beat this on ninja. Well, no, I read a guide that said that you can't beat this fight on ninja. Hold on. Can you tell me... Yeah, it's an evasion tank. It's actually the first evasion tank. Any game that has an evasion tank, the Final Fantasy XI was the first one to do that, functionally. Incidentally, the random one I clicked on has a ninja evasion tank. That's what they're gearing up for right there, which is actually kind of funny for the story. So, I say, hey, can you tell me who wrote that guide? And... like, yeah, well, sure thing. The guide says that ninja can't tank this. Hold on, it's written by... Oh. You see? I wrote that guide! And yes, I say in that guide that Paladin is a more effective tank in there, unless you have a very specific party composition to set up for the ninja to be able to do it. I did say those words in that guide. But this person told me that I couldn't do the thing that I wrote the guide that said about... Like, you can't... A ninja can't tank this! At least according to this guide I found. Oh, interesting. And admittedly, it's a tough fight. Real talk. It's not an easy fight, and it was a huge stumbling block for a lot of people because you had to get through C. You had to get through this to get to C. C is an absolutely stunningly beautiful zone. Hold on, let me show you some pictures of C. Because, my goodness. Sure. 16 years ago, that's... Ooh, that one hit me right in the chest. Okay. I'm gonna show you Alteo, because Alteo is gorgeous, and I love it, and it makes me happy. And for a long time, Alteo was just straight up, like, one of my comfort spaces in the game. It's just beautiful. It's just comforting. It's just... also aggressively difficult, but in the way that is engaging. This... is C. This is a horrible video. The graphics on this are wretched. I should just find another one. But the general idea is that you are walking on top of water. You are running around. There are there's some aquatic themed creatures. There's remnants of an ancient civilization that's been battered down into dust. from just about every place on the map, you can see giant spires in the distance. Those sharks beneath the water can jump up and attack you. Like they are not even targetable until they're out. And there's also some enemies that are flying through the sky that can be dangerous. But on the whole, the region is just beautiful. And I like it. And the music is really calming as well. I don't know. This is not the best quality video. Oh hey, I know that guy. I know them. Wait a minute. I know this person. I clicked on a random video that said they were exploring the zone, and there is a non-zero chance that I'm actually going to be in one of these backgrounds. Shoutouts to Chaos, I guess, from this video they posted 16 years ago. With what looks to be Camtasia's screen recorder. Actually, back then... Yeah, Chaos. They were Blue Garter for a while, weren't they? Is Blue Garter still around in 14? They probably are. Like, the inside palace has this gorgeous marble look. I'm gonna see if I can find one. I mean, oopsies, that's not it. I'm gonna see if I can find one that's a bit higher quality, though. Not really. There's just a bunch of farming stuff, which is going to have commentaries, which I don't want to host someone else's commentary on my channel. That's always a big no-no. You know, if you're making content, don't host someone else's content while you're making content. It's bad form. Always is, always will be. You can follow Miles' guides. Yeah, I helped Motenton with a couple of their guides. Bad form. Yeah, if someone is streaming, talking about another streamer, that's how you... Oh my goodness. Apparently, yeah. That's what I need to do, is I need to make drama. You know what? Screw Chaos! Screw that guy! No one cares about that Final Fantasy XI drama. No, if people cared about Final Fantasy XI drama, then boy howdy would I be in business, because I could talk about a lot of that. One of the expansions was named after my guild, fun fact. I don't need to get into that. No, but it's actually semi-true. One of the expansions is actually named after my link shell in 11. Wait, really? Yeah. I was actually the guildmaster for Wing of Altana, the Wings of Altana, and the expansion that came out when we were more or less at the peak of our endgame prowess was Wings of the Goddess. The goddess is Altana. You do the math. And we were a very well-known link shell. Honestly, it should it's probably because they couldn't figure out a better endgame link shell to do something like a Blue Garter. You can't use as a expansion title. It doesn't work. Wings of the Goddess, which was formed in vanilla. Was around, has a very safe, I guess, branding on it. So they went with that. Jade is famous. I've always been adjacent to famous, but I've never really been famous. But I'm working on it, you know? Yo, screw Roundhouse. That's like, no one is going to understand what that means or why, but if I can stir up some Final Fantasy XI drama to build the channel, you know what? Fine, I can do that. Screw Roundhouse. You're a tool and a cad, and you have cheated your entire group, like 14, 16 years ago, 17 years ago. Yeah, screw you back then, I guess. You're the token American? Nice. We all were? I wouldn't go that far. I was never in Blue Garter proper because I was not on that server. I was Link Show leader for an endgame on the different server. Tanked Absolute Virtue once. Few people will know who that is. Anyways, we're gonna wrap up here though. We're actually going to do community night in the Discord server, where we're gonna watch cartoons all night, and it's gonna be fun. So we can head over there, and I look forward to seeing you. This was fun. This will happen again. I'll probably do a stream about adapting Final Fantasy games in the future, because that sounds fun. I'll need to figure out what game I'm playing next, because there's some really good options. I'll see if I can get my hands on my Symphony of the Night disc, and then run it into something, see if I can play it. And if I can't, then I'll have to figure out how to do that. Alright, cheers friends!